John Mangini for president. Baseball card fans despair. We're talking about comic books tonight. There's one particularly exciting, dare I say, sensational book that I wanted to show. But along the way, I picked up some others as well. Two of them with baseball covers. Before we start, the shirt. Secrets of Haunted House. I believe this is the cover from issue number 5. Shout out to my buddy Randy over at Swarm of Comics for the t-shirt. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description here. He's got all kinds of cool, mostly comic book cover type t-shirts in his store that he sells. Let's leave the baseball ones until a little bit later. Let's start off with this one that I just randomly picked up at the local comic shop. It was sitting on their wall, looking all awesome, and I couldn't resist. The price on it was really nice. It's in fantastic shape. This is Captain Midnight, number 32. I don't know how well the condition's coming across on camera, but it's a beauty. Faded except for where they had a label of some kind on it for a long time, I guess. But the color is still great. If this spot wasn't here for contrast, you might not notice. This is from July 1945. Very cool. I don't have any other issues from this title at all. So just started learning about Captain Midnight. I dig the clock face on the costume there. There's 2 books I'm going to show that have been restored, so I wanted to talk about that and population counts. So I know purple labels are kind of a contentious thing among collectors, but I think they have their time and place. I'm going to show a couple now that one of them's a purple label. And I saw them on heritage auctions and bid and won. And to fund them, I sold my copy of Incredible Hulk number 2 to, again, my buddy Randy. It was a low-grade book, 1.5, I believe. And it's a neat key if you're not familiar with that book. It's the first time the Incredible Hulk was shown green, as we kind of know him today. Originally, in the first Incredible Hulk issue, he was gray. Printing issues, I guess, with that, so that's why they changed the color. It was a cool book to have, but didn't feel like it really fit in with my collection all that well. And I really like books with good covers. I'm mostly in it for the covers. I do have a selection of key books that don't necessarily have awesome covers, but this Incredible Hulk number 2 really doesn't have a good cover. These 2 that I got to replace it are stunning Golden Age covers. And they're both so good that I'm torn which one to show first. This is a book with a cover by H.G. Peter, which I guess at this point I might as well just call my favorite comic artist. Certainly of the Golden Age, although there's some close runners-up. Alex Schomburg, of course, and Lou Fine, another couple of my favorites. This is Famous Funnies number 89, and this is one of relatively few covers from H.G. Peter that are not Wonder Woman covers. You know, either Wonder Woman or Sensation Comics or some of the All-Star Comics covers. This is the red guy here, Fearless Flint, apparently. So this is the first appearance. So this is the first appearance and origin of Fearless Flint, who I believe was created by H.G. Peter. Just an amazing looking cover. This is September 1945, and there are currently 50 copies on the CGC census. These famous funnies are a little bit bigger than other Golden Age books at the time. I found that even if I get the oversized Golden Age top loaders and boards and bags, that they don't quite fit these. So I'm very surprised that this fits in one of the non-magazine size CGC slabs. This one is the purple label book that I got from Heritage. The Captain Midnight I showed is Pop 7. 7 of them on the CGC census, and not really a surprise, not because this is, a mega rare book. I mean, you certainly don't see it very often, but just because there's nothing real significant about it, it doesn't tend to get graded as often as a lot of other books. So while it's a cool cover, it's not a key issue, and it's not a title that's highly collected. Not like some of the more popular characters that still endure today. So just like cards, low population count is kind of only half the story. It doesn't necessarily mean something's rare. It just means that there haven't been many of them graded, and that could be for more than one reason. This is an example of a book that is pretty heavily graded. There are 41 on the CGC census, and I imagine any collector who likes graded books, if they came across a raw copy, would get it graded. The 41 includes 5 purple labels, restored books, and this is the second highest restored grade. This is Buck Rogers #1. I believe it's from 1940. 1940, as you can see there. It's the colors and the layout, I guess. The style, the sci-fi elements. This is the same cover artist, and I'm pretty sure interior artist, who did the Kellogg's, Buck Rogers Kellogg's book that was from 1932, 33, I think, somewhere around there. Here's a cool thing about this book that I did not know until a friend of mine who has this book showed me. And obviously I know now that I own the book too. The back is the same art as the front, but without all of the trade dress. So here you can see just pure art, what that scene was meant to look like. It's funny, there are some other slight differences too. Like there's the craft up here that is not on the front because the title's in the way. And if you look at the spacing down here, this little craft is further down the bottom than this one. And it's like the whole scene's just shifted a little bit. You see less of the legs here than you do on this side. But super cool thing that you don't really see very often. I'm sure there are other comics that have that, but this is the only one I've ever seen. This is a gorgeous book to display, and this is a good example of one that is scarce enough and desirable enough that I feel like purple labels have their place in collections for sure, because I mean, you're going to buy a universal copy, unrestored copy that presents as well as this. It would just be so expensive that your wife would kill you for real. The restoration on this book, according to the label here, is a small amount of color touch on the cover. And I feel like I can see it. There's this part here where it also looks like there's some pencil writing that was perhaps colored over. It probably doesn't come through on camera, but you can kind of see the outlines of where the color may have been touched up. And I'm surprised there's no mention of this. I guess they don't consider it restoration because it's clearly not an attempt at restoration. It's classified more as a condition issue or damage, but this is like a little piece of tape on the cover that it looks like tried to get removed. Basically, it looks like a gnarly tape pull, and some of the tape is still there. Back when a lot of these old books were restored, it doesn't seem like there was an emphasis on conservation at all. It was like nobody really cared if the things done to the book were reversible. It was just all about increasing the appearance of the book. And there's things that can be done for sure to increase the appeal of the book, the eye appeal of the book, and also extend its lifespan, and do it in a way that's completely reversible, so that instead of being a restoration, it would be classified as a conservation. And CGC should give those blue labels that state that it's conserved rather than purple. Let's put a pin in the topic of restoration, and I'll show you the 2 books with baseball covers that I picked up. This one's Golden Age Barely, Feature Funnies number 13. This is from 1938, September of 1938. This is a really difficult book to find. CGC census is 2 copies, and I didn't know when I was ever going to find another copy of this for sale, so I grabbed this in spite of it being missing parts of the last page. You can't see the cover, not the back cover, but the last interior page has some sections that are cut out of it. Like somebody must have liked those panels and cut them out and put them in their wallet or hung them up, I don't know. But the book presents well, and I have it, so that's really what it's all about. There's tape neatly along the spine, which seems like it was a fairly common practice back in the day for these, particularly when the books were loaner copies. But really, it's just, for me, the baseball cover on this one. Nothing else fantastic about it that gets me going. This next one is an awesome cover. And even apart from it being a baseball cover, this is a superhero, Golden Age superhero baseball cover that I didn't know existed until I saw this copy for sale. This is Flash Comics number 90. There we go. Sorry about all the glare. This is from December of 1947. This is from the DC Universe collection, as noted on the label. I'm going to show you another book in a moment that's also from that collection. This is awesome. Just something about the composition and the giant lady and the black background color. Flash's swing is horrendous looking. I guess he's so fast it just doesn't matter, right? But yeah, he's got to work on that some. And I haven't read this. I'm going to find it digitally so that I can read through it, since I can't open this one. But I assume that what we're seeing back there in the dugout is kind of like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's playing every position. There are 31 of these on the CGC census. Not a super rare book, but not one you see every day either. The next two I'm going to show are H.G. Peter covers, and they are both Wonder Woman covers, both Sensation Comics issues, and they are both red backgrounds, which always looks cool. This first one I'm going to show you is number 45, and it is trashed. But I love the art on this cover. I've seen quite a number of these for sale, relatively speaking, I guess. And I got this one because it looks like... So the colors are fantastic. The interior pages, believe it or not, in spite of the condition of the cover, the interior pages are really nice. This seems like a great candidate for some conservation techniques in the future. Tear seals, maybe some leaf casting. But this is, a cheap copy of a gorgeous book that I might do something with someday in the future. But H.G. Peter and horses. His horse covers are amazing. The line work suits it so well. This is from September 1945. There are 50 copies on the CGC census. Now, this is the big one, and this is one that I never thought I'd have anytime soon. And this is exactly why, in some cases, I love restored books. This is one that's highly desirable because it's extremely early. It's also a key issue. The cover is stunning, and there just aren't very many of them. This is one, again, where if collectors who are into graded books come across a raw one, they're going to get it graded. So it seems to me like, probably most of these that exist are represented on the census. There are 37 of them on the census, and 8 of those are restored purple label. And like the Buck Rogers, this is the second highest purple restored copy. This is Sensation Comics number 4. Says Lewis on it right there, written in pencil. Sorry, Lewis, this is my book now. I fell in love with this cover the first time I saw it. Just much like the Blue Beetle number 1. Something about it grabbed me, and I knew I had to have it. I kept a pretty close eye on copies of these that came up here and there. Noticed the same copies selling multiple times in a couple cases. I think I saw one pretty high grade Universal that obviously was again, Life Will Actually Kill You expensive. Most of them were 0.5s, 1s, 1.5s. And I was hovering in the, I'll be lucky if I can get a 0.5 or maybe even a 1 that looks halfway presentable on the front. I was going to be happy with one that was maybe missing an interior wrap or two. Or had a chunk of the back cover missing or something. But I mean, again, this is a 6.0 restored. For the money that the restored books go for a book like this that's tough to get and expensive when you do find it, You just can't beat the eye appeal if you're not working with unlimited money. This is the first appearance of Baroness Paula von Gunther, and first appearance of Stretch Skinner. This is a B2 restoration, slight to moderate. Small amount of color touch on cover, pieces added to cover, tear seals to cover, cover reinforced. This is the other book from the DC Universe collection, as noted on the label. Cool patriotic back cover with Uncle Sam there too. It's a neat bonus. It seems like rule of thumb is roughly, and of course it varies case to case, but roughly half the value is lost on a restored book, grade for grade. So in other words, this should have cost what a 3.0 Universal would have. And I can tell you now, I got this way, way less than I've seen any 3.0-ish copy sell. Again, there are few enough of these that you're not always going to be able to find recent comps of a particular grade. But given the recent comps in various grades around there, I feel like I got a steal on this book. The next time you see my wall back there, this is sure to be up there. I do have some more comics on the way, and there are a few more that I have picked up recently that I didn't show with these just because it didn't really fit in with what I was talking about. So I will be doing another comic book only video at some point in the not too distant future, I hope, but we'll be back to baseball cards next time. I'm curious to know if, either of the two people out there that are watching this video, if you prefer me keeping the comic book content separate from the baseball card content, or if you don't care whether it's mixed together or whatever, because I really don't care either way. I'll talk about whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember to go vote John Mangini for Hobby President.